Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. So pleased to have in the studio with us today, Jourdan Ziff, the co-founder and director of marketing and growth for Her Sports San Diego. How you doing, Jourdan?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to be here. I'm honored to have as my guest co-host, we've got Veda Weissman. She's a senior at San Diego State University, my alma mater, and my daughter's alma mater, in the same field where I got my degree, journalism and media studies. So, Veda, how are you liking this experience as a co-host? We didn't tell Veda that she was going to be co-hosting. She just came in and we just stuck the microphone in front of her.
Yeah, I couldn't really say no, but I love it. You know, it's a great learning opportunity of what I might want to do in my future. So it's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me and allowing me to do this.
You're doing a great job over here.
Thank you.
I know you got a question for Jourdan right now.
Yeah, Jourdan. So tell us a little bit about your mission with Her Sports San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of San Diego State connection here at the table. Our founder started this company, Lisa Lamb, and she's a professor at San Diego State of math education, but would look in the newspapers, the local media outlets, and would go to read about women's sports and could never find it. And she's a sports fan of, men's and women's, of collegiate, of professional, but could not find the stories that she wanted to read. And so she decided to start writing them herself. And then, I met with her, and being an athlete and having that background, I was a professional soccer player. I came from it the other end, and we both just want to start elevating women's sports on the local level in San Diego.
So where did you play soccer in high school and college?
So I grew up in Temecula. I played in Temecula my entire youth career until I went to Division I university on the East Coast.
Which one?
I went to Loyola University, Maryland.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then spent my 4 years there, and then went and started traveling the world playing professionally. Started in Finland, Puerto Rico, Brazil, and then ended my professional career in Vancouver. So hit a little bit of every continent.
Nice. And so when did you decide to do the Her Sports? Just because of the lack of sports for women and all that business in covering sports and so forth?
Yeah, I think as an athlete and my background, I played at some really high profile clubs in my career, but still saw such a disparity between the men's and women's, our resources. And as I progressed in my career, I started really being interested in sports media and the platforms that we were giving athletes like myself, but other teams as well. And so finding Her Sports and finding Lisa, who's so mission driven, I was excited to bring that back home and learn from my own career around the world and how it was affecting people in my local community.
So how are you doing this coverage? Are you doing it in every single genre possible, from Facebook to TikTok to MySpace? I'm teasing. I'm dating myself here. And any aspect of just blow up coverage?
Yeah, I think that we really want to focus on the professional and the Division I universities here in San Diego first, but really highlight even people locally that are doing huge things around the world to really kind of grow the fan base here in San Diego and get our community connected. And so that's really where we're focusing our coverage now. And we're started as a newsletter. So, we have a lot in writing that can go right to people's inboxes. And then also developing our social media channels, and then potentially launching a podcast.
Oh, okay. So when are you going to do the podcast?
We're starting that very soon. And we're looking to get an inside look into some of these athletes' lives that are in our community, and really be able to build the stories and build the connection to the individuals that are playing.
Right. So if you ever need any advice, we're here to help at Cloudcast Media. Actually,
this is great training.
This is what we do. Do you have a studio in mind, or do you have a place where you're going to do it?
Yeah, so the studio right now, we're thinking is from my car and doing a little bit of the athletes' commute. And so we get a real inside look driving athletes to training and kind of, what goes into those rides with athletes. And it's a different way to look into kind of who the human is behind the athlete and those big moments, before you step out on the field.
Right. Let me ask you this before Veda asks you a question. Now, did you come from a family of athletes? Did your parents play soccer? Your brothers, aunts, uncles, pets, or whatever?
My parents really threw us into a mix of sports. I did karate. My sister was a track and field runner. My dad is a surfer. And so really let us choose where our passions led us. My sister is now a firefighter in LA. And so we just, I think, had a hold on, the active lifestyle and what that was giving me and the opportunities it was giving me and the connection to some of my closest friends. So that really drove me through each step of my career.
Right. Got that. Question, Veda, you have for Jourdan?
Yes. First of all, that's awesome that you're a pro. That's huge because I played soccer growing up. Didn't make it that far. I quit after I graduated high school, but that's impressive. What are some of the challenges that you see with women's sports and their lack of visibility?
Yeah, I think that for women's sports, and we're starting to see such a movement behind it, but there's still a bit of a tough cycle of you want the investment to be able to grow these teams, give them the resources they need in order for them to succeed and build their fan bases and really connect the community to them, because that's what then drives more investment. Mm-hmm. And so we're really trying to jump in and help that cycle by allowing the storytelling, by giving these people the platforms to connect the community and show that it's lucrative for investors, for businesses to align themselves with this.
Now, do you have a target audience who you're going after?
I think there's, we're finding a very wide range of people who are seeking this. We have readers that are moms reading this to their daughters so that their daughters can start seeing, oh, look at what this person is doing at a university down the street from me, playing Division I, or a woman that's making this her career professionally and starting to visualize that for themselves. And then we have athletic directors at high schools that are sharing our schedules with their coaches. So that way their teams can know what events are happening. And so there is a bit of a range there, but really it's providing people with those schedules, with those stories, the game recaps. That way more and more people can get connected.
Yeah, question?
And is it primarily focused on soccer, or are you doing other sports, like other women's sports?
Yeah, we're really covering all sports.
Okay.
And so it's giving, SDSU women's basketball a platform. It's giving University of California, San Diego, the tennis team, more coverage. It's the San Diego Mojo professional volleyball team here in San Diego that so many people don't even know exists here. Mm-hmm. So we're really covering everything.
No, I think that's great. And, when kids see this stuff, and obviously I didn't realize this was going on, pick a topic, women lacrosse or who knows, fiddlesticks or something like that. I think it's really, really important to make sure you say it once, you say it twice, you say it 4 billion times. Mm-hmm. Talk about that repetition of how important that is.
It is so important. And I think it goes back to even when I think of my own journey of what I was seeing when I was younger. I was lucky enough to reach a professional level. And I think that there were a lot of little milestones along the way. But when I was younger, I couldn't really envision that. And so it really is showing it to people in different forms on different channels every day and saying, this is something exciting. This is something you can follow and make and feel passionate about. And really, serving it to people as often as we can so that they can feel more connected.
Right. So I was asked this question with someone sort of in the communication space. I'm not sure if I even brought that up to your class, Veda, when I was chatting there. But are you using AI to get the word out as well?
We are utilizing technology. It's interesting being in this editorial space and within media, because our biggest goal is to be a trustworthy news source. And so there is a fine line of trusting AI to help you. And when you have limited resources, really maximizing, but at the same time being very skeptical of, is this 100% certain? Is this the voice, the tone that we want to present to people? And so we are utilizing it in ways we can, but being very careful in making sure we're trustworthy and statistically correct.
When we come back from break, I want to chat a little bit more about this SDSU Entrepreneurship Incubator Zip Launchpad that you folks were involved in. I know that Veda wants some other questions about the organization, maybe some of the challenges you have when we return with Jourdan Ziff, co-founder and director of marketing and growth for Her Sports San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community, food insecurity, the arts, financial literacy, and everything in between. And we will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed and Credit Union. Also pleased to have in the studio with us Jourdan Ziff, co-founder and director of marketing and growth for Her Sports San Diego. Jourdan, how long has the organization been in business?
So they launched the business in this February. So we are...
Beautiful. So yes, you got to start sometime. Another aspect of it. Also joined by my guest co-host, Veda Weissman. She was a senior at San Diego State in the journalism and the media studies division. So we talked about how we need to amplify. There's only so much. I worked for the Union Tribune for a long time in the business side, even though I was a sports writer for another paper. But it's very competitive, as you well know, to get that ink in the newspaper. You only have so much newsprint you can do, but there are other avenues to do this. What other spaces? You mentioned podcasts. You're going to do it. What other types of technology are you going to use?
So we have really the newsletter that has driven so much from the beginning. I mean, that's what Lisa launched with. And then expanding our social media platforms. So our Instagram is huge. And then starting to get, some traction on TikTok. So those are our main channels as of right now.
Right, exactly. Veda?
Yeah. Has Her Sports San Diego received any awards or special recognition?
Yeah. Launching this company, we've had San Diego State's Zip Launchpad, a incubator for startups, really get behind us and support us. And so that's been huge, advancing through those stage. And we work with, different advisors and different leaders in the business entrepreneurial space really advise us. And that's been huge and an honor to be a part of that program at San Diego.
So did you win? Were you a runner-up, or how'd that work?
So Lisa, our founder, was able to submit her company and her idea because she's faculty there, being a professor, but of mathematics and not having that business background. She just went for it. And so there's different stages of that, and you have to pitch and work on your business and then, be admitted by their different board in order for them to give you resources and help you in the process. And that's where we're at now, is their final stage.
You note in here that, one of your goals is to give the athletes to tell their story, which is great. But that didn't really happen when you were an athlete, correct?
Yeah, that was a lot more difficult for me as I was going through my journey.
Right. And just because they just didn't have enough reporters covering you, or just not an interest in women's sports, a little bit of both?
I think that it is a bit of both. I think it's also difficult for female athletes to be able to speak on their experience when the industry has been driven by so many men, because your questions are different, their experiences are different. So what a male figure in this space would ask a female athlete is not the same as what you would ask a male athlete, because your journeys have been so different. So it really has been a mix of both.
So you speak Portuguese?
I got a contract in Brazil for Santos FC, which if for people who know soccer, is where Pelé started. It's where Neymar's played, Martez played. So I was thrown into that world, and there was really no English. So Portuguese was my option. So I learned it as I played there.
Was it hard to learn?
It was difficult to learn, but I think I was so interested in learning. I wanted to learn it so bad. I have Brazilian family. So it was such a passion of mine, and I was so honored to be able to live there and have that opportunity that I just went for it. So that definitely helped.
So talk about your interview with a Wave FC player in Portuguese.
Yeah, that was a really awesome opportunity. And the San Diego Wave actually contacted us. They knew I had a background playing in Brazil and that I spoke the language. And Jourdan is the player here. She's 20 years old and just is playing outside of her home country for the first time in her life. So she doesn't speak English yet. And so I was able to go down to the San Diego training facility and conduct that interview in her native language. And that was a big moment for me, because I played in the opposite. I was the English speaker in the Brazilian world. And so, there weren't many English-speaking reporters able to do the same for me. So I was really, really honored to be able to do that for her.
No, that is absolutely terrific. Any other languages you know?
Those are the two, English and Portuguese. However, I am working on my Spanish. It gets easier as you start learning another one. So
yeah,
that's the goal.
Well, listen, I mean, we know that they play the world's most popular sport around, in every single, probably in some solar systems we're not even aware of as all. We're chatting with Jourdan Ziff, co-founder and director of marketing and growth for Her Sports San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Just so thrilled to have as a guest co-host Veda Weissman, a senior at San Diego State, majoring in journalism and media studies. Now, we learned this from you, Veda, in previous interviews, obviously, that you are a soccer player, but you stopped at, why'd you stop at high school?
Honestly, senior year, COVID hit. I was kind of exhausted from my coaches. I played competitively, and then I switched over to high school, and I had some not good coaches, so that kind of ruined the sport for me. But I still watch and support. I'm a huge Premier League fan, which is over in Europe. But yeah.
So is Man U your favorite team?
Chelsea or Liverpool.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes,
I'm an Arsenal fan, so this is
really
controversial.
Oh, wow.
But I love it.
For a soccer rube like me, why is it controversial?
There are huge rivalries out there. I mean, these are London-based teams. And I mean, talking about Brazil and football being the heart of that culture, I mean, England is not far behind that. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So where do you see Her Sports San Diego, let's say, in 5 years?
I really see Her Sports being able to align and start leading the charge on a local level with the women's sports movement. There is national coverage starting to gain traction for women's sports, but even then it's 8% of the coverage of sports across our nation. And so on a local level, there's so much that's missed. And, your history at the San Diego Union Tribune, I mean, you can see that it's difficult, and it's been difficult to give women's sports any sort of platform at all. So I'm hoping as we start breaking that cycle and more investors and more businesses start aligning with this, that we can really lead the charge and become such a connector for the fans that want this.
Yeah, I mean, I can tease my friends at the Union Tribune on this. During baseball season, I think they have like of the 8 pages of the Union Tribune, 6 of them are on the Padres, for God's sake, on it. So there's plenty of space. And listen, there's nothing against my friends at the Padres or my friends at the Union Tribune. But to your point, there's a lot of ink. And I think the San Diego Union Tribune sports section has actually done a good job compared to other newspapers that have seen their sports sections really shrink. What I will give them credit for is they do a great job with prep sports coverage and in that area of it. Do you talk to any of the sports folks over at the UT?
That's a perfect question for us, because I'm sure they've received a good amount of emails from Lisa, our founder, because I mean, that was the driving force in her getting this started. Is she would, reach out and be like, okay, this headline, I mean, San Diego Wave, one of our biggest professional sports in the city, just clinched playoffs, and there's still yet to be an article on it. And so we're really seeing a space for us there. And with our world nowadays and how any person can reach an audience, we no longer have to rely on an outlet like that, and we can start creating it ourselves. So we hope to work in connection with them. I mean, we want to build men's sports just as much as women's. We're looking for San Diego to find that pride and for it all to help each other.
That sounds great. Any final comments, Jourdan? How can we help you and Her Sports San Diego thrive?
I mean, visit hersports.us. You can subscribe to the newsletter to get schedules, game recaps, game previews, whether it's a pickleball event or, a local surf tournament. It can be there at your fingertips. And so, follow us there.
What's the website?
hersports.us or our Instagram at hersports San Diego.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Jourdan Ziff, co-founder and director of marketing and growth for Her Sports San Diego, and Veda Weissman, another fine job as a co-host. I appreciate you. Got thrown right in the fire. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing wonderful things in our community for 60 years. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.